Hey everybody, I'm Jammer, here today with my video review of Splatoon 2 for Nintendo Switch. For my background with the series, I was a big fan of the original Splatoon. I was actually a little indecisive on my initial purchase. I had played the test fire and enjoyed it, but ultimately I decided to purchase it just because I wanted to hop on the train while the game was, well, fresh. That, and so I could experience this new game alongside everyone else. And I am sure glad I made that decision because I had a great time with that game. But now we're here with Splatoon 2, so let's get right into it. First of all, welcome back to Inkopolis. 2 years have passed since the first game release, and the same time has passed here. We find our hub in a new part of town with tons of new shops, characters, and fresh hangout spots. If you're familiar with the original, a lot of the aspects in that game return here. We have our 3 equipable gear, headgear, clothing, and shoes. Each have ability slots that affect your Inkling. One may increase swim speed as a Squid, while the other may reduce damage taking from opponents' sub-weapons. These subtle changes have a pretty big impact on the gameplay, so it's all about optimizing your gear to get the best abilities to suit your playstyle. Nearly all the abilities from the original return here, in addition to a handful of new ones as well. Beyond gear, you can customize your Inkling's gender and eye color just like before. But new to this game is the option of hairstyles and pants! The selection itself is a bit limiting, but it's a nice addition to really personalize your Inkling. But what is Splatoon without its weapons? Here you're offered a wide variety of weapons from the original game's catalog. Splatter Shot for an all-around good rapid-fire weapon, rollers to get up and close to your opponent while laying down a ton of ink, and charges for an added distance sniping. And there's even much more beyond those 3. They all have received some tweaks and changes to buff and balance accordingly. There's one new weapon among the collection, being the Splat Dualies. These rapid-fire dual wielders have the roll dodge ability that's unique to this weapon. Currently, this is the only brand new weapon type in the game. However, they have already promised the addition of the Splatbrella and more to come in the future through free updates. Each weapon comes equipped with a sub and a special weapon. The subs are nearly identical to the originals with the exception of the 2 new ones. However, their functions are nearly the same as the one they replace. The new thing here is all the specials are brand new. Some share similar traits to the original, but for the most part, they're all unique. In my experience, I found that these ones aren't as effective as the old ones. I guess what I should say, that they're more properly balanced. In the original Splatoon, it was important to get your special as much as possible to either get out of a jam or keep applying pressure. Here I found myself almost ignoring my specials. More often than not, they would leave me more vulnerable than it was worth executing the special for. So I guess you could say they take a little bit more skill to activate this time, but it probably just comes down to me needing to play with them more and just getting used to them. Let's get to the main draw of the game being the multiplayer. What's nice this time around is the map rotation has been shortened from 4 hours to 2. This adds some well-needed variety to the multiplayer to keep everything, well, again, fresh. The main mode is Turf War, the same as it's always been. Whichever team can spray their ink on the most turf before the round ends, wins. At level 10, you unlock Rank Matches, a competitive lobby that offers different modes outside of Turf War, where you earn a ranking based on the matches you win. I didn't get to experience a lot of ranked matches during my preview time, but I can't explain how each of the modes work. The 3 modes that the original Splatoon introduced all return here. Splat Zones is essentially a King of the Hill mode where a team fights over control of a specific area of turf. While your team has control of it, a counter ticks down and whichever team holds the longest wins. Of the 3, this mode has received the least amount of changes. Tower control is all about riding a tower into enemy turf to reach the goal. Whoever gets the furthest and reaches the goal wins. The change here is the checkpoint system. Rather than the tower returning to the middle after your team loses control, there is a series of checkpoints along the route to the finish line. The tower has to stop there for a few seconds, which is nice so you won't lose all of your progress if your team gets set back. But it works both ways, where the tower has to stop when it's making forward progress, so you have to do your best to protect it during that time. The final ranked mode is Rainmaker. Each team fights over the Rainmaker weapon, and has to deliver it to a podium deep within the enemy's territory. The main change here is how the Rainmaker fires. Rather than being a wide tornado blast, it is a slow-firing charge bomb. As it flies through the air, it drops ink below it, but even when it makes impact on the ground, it still takes a few seconds before the explosion goes off. This change really makes the carrier of the Rainmaker rely a lot more on their teammates' protection, rather than being super overpowered all on their own. The last mode within the tower is League Battles. Players with a ranking B- or higher can squad up in a team of 4 to see how many matches you can win within a 2-hour time limit. The modes offered in League Battles are from the collection of ranked matches, but what's nice here is that the maps and mode will be different than the ones offered in ranked at the same time. Outside of the multiplayer tower, you can participate in a mode called Salmon Run. Essentially, it is a horde mode where you and a team of 3 take on waves of salmonid and while collecting golden eggs. To get these collectibles, you must defeat boss salmonid. Each have a unique way of being defeated, and this is the main objective of the mode. Focus on the boss and getting their eggs back to your basket while making sure none of the little minions take you out along the way. The more you play and win, your ranking goes up, offering harder waves of enemies and exclusive rewards. This is the only brand new mode presented here in Splatoon 2, and I had a ton of fun in it. It is a great way to mix up the regular gameplay and work together as a team for a common objective. It's a shame that this mode is only open at certain times. When it is available, the times that it offers is typically a long span, but it's kind of unfortunate that the entire mode itself is locked off from any sort of play until the next session is available. You could play Salmon Run at any time via the local play, but again you'd have to have 3 other friends around with you, all with their own games and switches. Hopefully they keep up the frequency of the online sessions, but it isn't inevitable that you might try to log on and play some Salmon Run, but it's unavailable. The single player campaign exists for lore building and teaching new players the mechanics of the game. I went in depth on what you can expect in my story mode preview, which you can find on the channel, but I will recap some of the important points I touched on here. Again, there will be no spoilers, so don't worry. Like I previously stated, the story mode serves the purpose of teaching the new players mastery over the physics of this unique shooter. They did the same in the original Splatoon, but I think it's better presented here. Rather than exclusively using a splatter shot variant, the campaign in Splatoon 2 pushes players out of their comfort zone to play different weapon types. Sheldon of the Ammonites will request you to play a certain weapon upon entering a stage, and that level itself is designed around the mechanics of that weapon. After completion, you unlock that weapon and are able to use it in all other levels. The game keeps track of which weapons you've completed a stage with, thus adding to the replay value. So if you're going for a true 100%, you have to beat every level with every weapon type. Beyond that, there are even more collectibles this time around. The Sunken Scrolls, Sardinium, and the Power Eggs. The scrolls serve the same purpose of offering more story details, while the latter two are used for upgrading your weapons. Since there's a wider collection to your arsenal this time around, it adds even more incentive and value to these eggs. In the original Splatoon, it was pretty easy to max out your weapon just because there was only so much you could upgrade. But since there's more to upgrade this time around, it really ups the incentive to collect as many as you can. The hub has seen some significant changes as well. Octo Canyon offers platforming challenges to even get to the stages, which is much more preferable than a bland level select. There are even little secrets and balloon minigames hidden throughout the hub, offering even more for you to do in that area. Then there are the boss fights. Again, without saying any spoilers, if you go in with the expectations from the previous game's bosses, you won't be disappointed here. They were a ton of fun, super unique, and had me bursting in laughter throughout the fights. As far as overall difficulty in the campaign, I consider myself a pretty competent Splatoon player, but when it came to some of the later stages, I actually found it to be pretty challenging. Especially with the weapons I wasn't as comfortable using, like a charger or the Splatling. I really appreciate all these new additions to the story mode. I know for me anyways, when I beat Splatoon 1's campaign and collected all the scrolls, I never really went back. But here they offer much more of an incentive to continue playing these levels. The amiibo support this time around lets you save weapon and gear loadouts to the figure. Later, when you're in the equipment screen, you can quickly swap that setup saved to your amiibo by tapping it onto your controller. So if you have a certain gear you like to use when playing a roller, you can save that loadout to the amiibo, so whenever you want to swap over, you can get your build in an instant. You can even save your control preferences to the amiibo as well. Let's say you like a higher camera sensitivity exclusively when playing a charger, then whenever you want to change to that weapon type, all you have to do is scan the amiibo in. It's a really useful functionality, especially for players like myself who like experimenting with a variety of different weapon types. But in the end, I'm not sure why this functionality had to be tied to the amiibo. I'd love to have the freedom to save a collection of presets with my weapons, gears, and controls all equipped. It's nice that the option is available, but personally, I didn't think it needed to be tied to the amiibo. And speaking of equipping gear, it's a shame you can't do this within a lobby. If you want to switch up what weapon or equipment, you have to back out of the tower, grab your stuff, and try to connect with a new group of players. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe figured it out, letting you change your character and card setup in a lobby. Even ARMS lets you customize your arms equipped to the fighters. I was really hoping that this would be something that would be incorporated here, but unfortunately that's not the case. Overall, Splatoon 2 offers an upgraded experience over the original game. The refined physics are fantastic, and the new control options are awesome. I didn't realize how much I wouldn't miss the Wii U gamepad after playing with the Switch Pro controller. The lightweight quality really assists in the precision of the motion controls, and it's nice not having that clunky screen in between your thumbs. The new map system actually works really well. You can select your teammate to jump with on the direction of the D-pad, or you can move a cursor over them with the motion controls. You can actually continue to move and shoot with your Inkling while the map is up, so it doesn't put you at a huge disadvantage. Yes, maybe it was nice having the gamepad displaying the map at all times, but I found it more convenient here keeping my eyes on one screen rather than looking back and forth between two. Then there's a complaint that this sequel is too similar to the original, and honestly, I kind of find it to be valid. There really is only one new mode, a few new gear abilities, and one new weapon type. As far as the expectations that come with the sequel, the base of this game could be considered a bit lacking. I am in agreement that I would have loved to see a little bit more here. It is already a fantastic package, but with another new mode and some new weapon types would have really sweetened the deal. They've already promised new weapons and gear later down the road in the form of free updates, so in a few months from now, this complaint could be completely invalidated. I think it's the taste they gave me with the new Salmon Run mode that had me really craving for more like that. I wanted to see them expand on their creativity and see what other unique ideas they could have come up with. Even with all that in consideration, I still absolutely love this game, and I've had a ton of fun. The multiplayer gameplay is familiar in a good way, where you feel right at home playing again. The various modes are more refined and balanced for fairness. The map rotation this time has been shortened, offering up more variety to your playtime, in addition to the third lobby, giving players a wider selection of modes to choose between at any given time. This is a really fantastic experience, and I look forward to how it will be expanded in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a big awesome like, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for more on Splatoon 2 and other Nintendo Switch content. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!